So think about how you actually shopped for furniture maybe, what, 5, 10 years ago?
Right.
Probably involved a trip out, didn't it? To a big showroom, wandering around, feeling fabrics.
Testing the sofas for bounce.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Testing the sofas. And now, how often do you find yourself just scrolling, maybe on your phone or tablet,
Uh-huh.
endless options on a screen? You might be measuring up with an app and then just clicking buy.
Right.
On a whole coffee table you've never actually seen.
It's quite a change.
It really is. An incredible transformation, isn't it? Like a digital revolution happening right there in our living rooms. So today, that's exactly what we're doing a deep dive into, this global furniture e-commerce market. We've got a really interesting market research report here. And our mission really is to pull out the key nuggets, understand the growth, the regional differences, and what it all kind of means.
And the numbers, well, they really do paint a compelling picture of this shift. Globally, the online furniture space was valued at, get this, over $28 billion back in 2021.
28 billion. Wow.
Yeah. But what's really striking is where it's heading. It's projected to climb past $35 billion by 2025.
Okay.
And then really accelerate, hitting an impressive $55 billion by 2033.
55 billion.
That represents a steady compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of nearly 5.74%. What's fascinating is just how consistent that upward curve is. It really points to a fundamental change in, how we buy things.
Those numbers, they're more than just figures on a page, aren't they? They're a clear signal.
Absolutely.
A definite trend towards buying these quite personal, high-touch items online. So as you hear these figures, maybe ask yourself, what do you think is really driving this? Is it just convenience? Is it the endless choice online?
Or something else.
Or maybe something deeper, yeah, about how our digital lives and physical spaces are kind of merging. Okay, so let's break this down, region by region, see where the real action is, what the different stories are.
Sounds good. Starting maybe in North America, it continues to be, well, a powerhouse in this online furniture world. The region accounted for just over $10 billion in 2021.
And billion.
And it's estimated to surge to more than $18.6 billion by 2033. So it's maintaining a pretty steady growth rate, over 5.25%. It's interesting how this, established market keeps that momentum going.
And I guess leading that charge is the United States.
Oh, absolutely. Dominating the regional market. Projected to reach over $15.2 billion by 2033.
15 billion just in the U.S.
Yeah, it really highlights how deeply e-commerce is embedded in, American shopping habits.
Yeah.
But Canada's showing strong growth, too. Sales there are expected to basically double from 2021 levels, hitting over $2.3 billion by 2033. So a similar comfort level with buying online.
Right. And Mexico.
Mexico's online furniture market is also expanding quite a bit, set to nearly double as well, to over $1 billion by 2033.
So North America as a whole really leaning into digital.
Definitely. Now, moving over to Europe, that market was valued at over $6.2 billion in 2021. And it's forecasted to reach over $11.5 billion by 2033. So, showing a consistent growth rate, just over 5.3%. What's noticeable there is that steady expansion, even within a more, diverse and mature retail landscape.
And who's leading in Europe? Is it Germany?
Germany is definitely the regional leader there, yeah. Poised to more than double its online furniture sales, hitting over $2.3 billion by 2033.
That's pretty serious digital adoption, isn't it? For a country sometimes known for more traditional ways.
It is. And the UK follows pretty closely. A strong growth rate there, over 5.6%. They're expecting to reach over $1.6 billion by 2033. Again, that consistent growth suggests, consumer comfort and good logistics are in place.
Right. And I see France, Italy, Spain, Sweden are also showing healthy growth. Sweden, specifically, nearly doubling its market.
That's right. Sweden's on track for over $663 million by 2033. So, yeah, even across different economies in Europe, the digital trend is pretty clear.
Sure.
And what's also quite fascinating is that even, smaller markets, think Luxembourg, Denmark, they're contributing too. It shows a really widespread embrace of online furniture shopping across the continent.
Okay, now, here's where I heard it gets really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region. Word is that's showing the most significant momentum.
That's absolutely right. Arguably the most dynamic growth story we're seeing. The market there stood at over $8 billion in 2021.
Right, already quite large.
Exactly. But it's set to basically explode, reaching an impressive $17.2 billion by 2033. And look at the CGR over 6.55%. 5%.
Wow, 6.5%.
Yeah, this incredible acceleration points to a few things probably.
Mm.
A rapidly growing middle class, more internet access, maybe fewer established big box stores in some areas,
Right.
and just a widespread cultural embrace of mobile shopping, those mobile first platforms.
And India seems to be leading the charge. Highest TGR.
India is really notable, yeah. The highest CGR in the report, over 7.3%, growing to almost $3 billion by 2033.
That's a phenomenal jump.
Mhm.
Signals a huge market rapidly coming online.
It really does. And China also shows very robust growth, projected to more than double its market size, hitting over $5 billion by 2033. Just shows the sheer scale of digital commerce there.
And it's not just those two giants, right? Japan, South Korea, Australia. Yeah. They're all seeing upward trends too.
Exactly. It's not just
Yeah.
localized. It really feels like a regional transformation.
Okay.
And what really stands out, I think, is that even smaller markets, Singapore, Taiwan, Southeast Asia, generally they're seeing CAGRs between 6 and 7%.
Mhm.
It just reinforces that region's, well, digital retail dominance. They might even be leapfrogging some traditional retail models entirely in some places.
Okay, next up, South America. Starting from a baseline of over 1.8 billion in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
the region's expected to grow to over 3.7 billion by 2033. So, achieving a solid CGR of just over 6%. That growth is likely being pushed by, increasing urbanization, more internet penetration.
And Brazil's the big player there. Brazil is definitely the top performer, yeah. Poised to nearly double its online furniture sales, hitting over 1.4 billion by 2033. It really shows that expanding consumer base looking for that online convenience.
Makes sense.
And Argentina is also showing a strong growth rate, around 6.5%. Plus, you've got Colombia, Peru, Chile, all displaying solid gains. It reflects that broader digital expansion across the region.
Okay, how about the Middle East?
The Middle East is also expanding its digital furniture footprint, started at over 1.3 billion in 2021,
Right.
projected to hit over 2.6 billion by 2033. That marks a CGR of nearly 6%. This market seems driven by a digitally savvy younger population and, increase in disposable incomes.
And the key players there, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Turkey.
Those are the strongest performers, yeah. The UAE specifically is interesting, growing to over 445 million by 2033. It's just fascinating to see how quickly some of these markets are adapting.
It really is.
And you also see Egypt and Qatar showing upward trajectories, too. It highlights a growing digital consumer base across the Middle East, suggesting, significant long-term potential.
And finally, Africa. You mentioned this is maybe one to watch for the future.
Absolutely. Definitely a market to watch in the coming years as digital infrastructure continues to expand. So back in 2021, the region generated over $764 million. That's projected to rise to over 1.5 billion by 2033.
Doubling, essentially.
Pretty much, with a steady growth rate over 5.2%. Now, this growth, while maybe smaller in absolute dollar terms compared to, say, Asia,
Sure.
it still signifies a really fundamental shift happening.
And South Africa is leading the way there, expected to more than double its market.
That's right, over 650 million by 2033.
What do you think are the unique conditions driving that in South Africa specifically?
That's a great question. Well, South Africa benefits from, relatively more advanced digital infrastructure compared to some other parts of the continent. And that's coupled with a growing middle class that's really embracing online shopping. But Nigeria and the rest of Africa category aren't far behind. It all points towards an increasingly digital consumer base and, a future where buying furniture online could become pretty standard across the continent, too. So, okay, what does this all mean when we kind of connect all these regional dots back to the big picture?
Right, pulling it all together.
Well, the global furniture e-commerce market is clearly riding this wave of, well, digital convenience, definitely, changing lifestyles, growing middle-class demands across the world. But I think it's more than just convenience, isn't it? It's about shifting expectations consumers have for choice, maybe customization, efficient delivery.
Absolutely. And it's clear that some regions like Asia Pacific and South America, they're really pushing forward with those higher growth rates, suggesting, rapid digital maturing.
Exactly. While the established markets, North America, Europe, they're maintaining steady, still impressive growth. It shows that online channels remain dominant, even where traditional retail is still strong.
Yeah, it's not an either scenario necessarily.
Not at all. The sector's digital future just looks incredibly promising. It's bridging geographies, bringing furniture shopping right to your fingertips,
Mhm.
basically. It's fundamentally changing how we furnish our homes, maybe even how we think about retail spaces themselves. It's just a
Yes.
testament to how quickly consumers adapt when, the value and convenience are clear.
What a fascinating tour of the globe through the lens of online furniture. We've really unpacked some significant growth, haven't we? And quite varied growth across different regions, from those established giants to the rapidly emerging powerhouses. We hope this deep dive gave you, our listener, a real shortcut to understanding this major market trend and the forces behind it.
It really does make you think, though. This raises an important question, perhaps. As we see this massive shift in how we buy furniture, what other, traditional retail sectors might be right on the edge of a similar huge digital transformation?
Hmm, good question.
Or even thinking at the logistics. How might this change in furniture delivery needing more local warehouses, different kinds of delivery networks? How might that impact things like urban planning or even sustainability efforts down the line?
Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Something to mull over until our next deep dive.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a space that, well, affects almost all of us. The really dynamic world of furniture e-commerce. We're looking at this huge shift, from walking around showrooms to clicking through websites and apps. It's changing everything about how we furnish our homes and offices.
That's right. And this deep dive, it's really designed to give you a clear, sharp understanding of this market. We're cutting through the noise. We're drawing heavily on some solid information, particularly insights from cognitive market research, basically giving you a shortcut to getting up to speed.
Exactly. So our mission here is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack the key things driving this change, the tricky parts, the hurdles, and also some genuinely exciting future trends. These are things shaping how you outfit your living space, your workspace. It connects directly to, maybe your last purchase or even just that sofa you're dreaming about. So let's get into it.
Okay, let's start big picture. What are the main forces really pushing this digital change in furniture? I mean, beyond just everyone's online now, what's the real engine here? Well, it's fascinating when you peel it back. Yes, internet access and smartphones are everywhere. That's a given. But the deeper thing is this real growth in consumer digital confidence. Mobile apps, websites, they've made shopping for a sofa almost as easy as like ordering a coffee.
Right.
Browsing is seamless, comparing prices takes seconds, and then boom, it arrives at your door. And people, especially in, say, urban and semi-urban areas, they're just much more comfortable buying big-ticket items online now, that comfort level. That's what's really driving this steady climb.
That digital confidence, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it isn't just about the tech making it easier, is it? There's also been this explosion in demand for certain kinds of furniture. Like, think about remote work. Suddenly, everyone needed decent chairs, workstations, maybe better storage for their home office setup.
Exactly. And if you connect that to what's happening more broadly, with startups, co-working spaces popping up, they need furniture too, often budget-friendly stuff, maybe modular pieces they can reconfigure. And e-commerce is just perfectly set up for this. Huge selections, loads of customization options, flexible payments, things traditional stores sometimes struggle with. It just fits these modern needs better, making
Hmm.
it the go-to choice for many.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. The technology itself.
Hmm.
How is it actually changing the experience of buying online? Moving it beyond just, looking at photos.
Yeah, this is critical because it addresses that fundamental challenge. How do you replicate the feeling of seeing furniture in person when you're online?
Yeah.
Innovations like augmented reality, AR, and virtual reality, 3D visualization, these aren't just gimmicks anymore. They're actually changing how people decide. Imagine actually placing a virtual sofa in your living room using your phone, checking if that bookshelf really fits and matches the wall color before you even think about clicking buy. And the key insight here, especially with newer phones having things like LiDAR, is that these AO models are getting incredibly accurate, like true to scale. So AR goes from being a cool toy to a serious tool that cuts down on uncertainty. And that means fewer returns, happier customers. It's basically bridging that physical digital gap without needing a huge showroom.
Right, that makes sense. Well, of course, it can't all be smooth sailing. Like any industry that's booming, furniture e-commerce definitely has its share of challenges, right? It's
Yeah.
not just virtual sofas appearing magically.
Oh, absolutely not. Probably the biggest hurdle, and it sounds kind of obvious, but it's huge, is just the cost and complexity of logistics. Delivery. Furniture is, well, it's big, it's often fragile, and needs special handling. Shipping at long distances, and especially handling returns, that gets very expensive very quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And this cost, this friction, it forces companies to rethink everything. Either they absorb the cost, which hits their profits, or they pass it to you, the customer, which might put you off buying. It really pushes the need for smarter warehousing, better last mile delivery solutions.
Yeah, logistics piece is definitely a major one. And then there's that lingering customer concern, isn't there,
Yeah.
about quality and assembly. I mean, in a store, you can touch the wood, sit on the chair, open the doors. Online, you're relying on pictures, descriptions, maybe reviews.
Precisely. And that reliance, it naturally leads to questions. Is the material good? Is it sturdy? What's the actual quality like? It's hard to tell from a screen. And then, yes, the dreaded self-assembly. We've probably all been there. Unclear instructions, maybe a missing screw. It can be incredibly frustrating.
Oh, tell me about it.
Right. And that frustration doesn't just lead to returns, it can seriously damage how people see the brand long term. So companies are definitely looking at things like pre-assembly options or white glove delivery services to ease that pain point.
Okay, and another challenge you hear about is competition. Not just from other big online players, but from that sort of unorganized sector, local guys.
Yeah, that's a really complex dynamic. You've got local carpenters, small independent shops. They can often make custom pieces, sometimes cheaper, and deliver really quickly within their local area.
Oh,
For the big e-commerce platforms, it's not just about matching the price, it's about changing habits.
right.
Buying furniture for many people is still a very local, personal, maybe even cultural thing.
Right.
So building that trust and loyalty against those established local relationships, it's tricky. It takes more than just having a massive online catalog.
So, okay, we've talked hurdles, but despite all that, the future still looks pretty exciting.
Yeah.
What are some of the big trends shaping where furniture e-commerce is going next?
Oh, definitely not bleak. Quite the opposite. It's really vibrant. One huge trend, and it's gaining serious momentum, is the move towards sustainable and eco-friendly furniture. People increasingly want their purchases to reflect their values, not just their style. So we're seeing a big pull towards materials like bamboo, reclaimed wood, recycled metals, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just the product itself. Think green packaging, ethical sourcing, getting those sustainability certifications. These are becoming major selling points. It's moving from a niche interest to, honestly, a key factor for a lot of shoppers. People want aesthetics and ethics.
That's a really important shift. And thinking about the consumer again, how are people expressing more individuality? You mentioned customization earlier. And modularity.
Absolutely. People want their homes to be theirs. So e-commerce platforms are responding by offering way more options. Choose your fabric, your color, the exact dimensions, the finish, lots of choices. And alongside that, modular furniture is really taking off. Think sofas you can rearrange, shelving that grows with you. It's super popular, especially for people in cities, maybe renters, people in smaller spaces. They value that flexibility, that ability for furniture to adapt as their life changes. It's not just a one-time static buy anymore.
Okay, and finally, let's touch on omnichannel strategies. That's a term you hear thrown around a lot. What does it really mean in practice for someone buying furniture? How's it changing things?
Yeah, it gets used a lot, but what's fascinating is how it's really about connecting the dots,
Mm-hmm.
making the experience seamless whether you're online or offline. It's not just about having a website and a store, it's about them working together, sharing information. So maybe you start configuring a custom wardrobe online. Then you go into an experience center, not even a full store maybe, and the staff there already know your preferences. They can pull up your design. We're seeing things like virtual showrooms you access from home, those AI chatbots for quick questions, really good AR apps we talked about. It's about blending the best of both worlds.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, you get the convenience and personalization of digital, but maybe also those tactile moments you get in a physical space. It builds trust, makes the whole journey feel smoother, more personal. And ultimately, yeah, it leads to more sales and happier, more loyal customers.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you listening in? I think the core message from our deep dive is pretty clear. Furniture e-commerce isn't just growing, it's changing fundamentally. It's really evolving.
Right.
Technology is the engine driving it, no doubt, but it's consumer preferences, what you want, what you value, that's really steering the ship. It's
Mhm.
transforming how we all furnish our spaces.
Yeah, exactly. And that transformation, it's making the whole process faster, definitely more convenient, much more personalized, and as we discussed, increasingly more sustainable too.
So here's something to think about. As you consider your next furniture purchase, whether it's a big investment or just a small update, how might these trends we've talked about reshape what you actually look for? And what new possibilities might that open up for how you live or work in your space?